All right, now the Western Cape High Court has dismissed an application for documents related to the sale of SAA to be made public. Toto Investments filed the papers to force Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan to hand over the full record of his decision. Let's go to our reporter Monique Morlock, who's tracking these developments for us. She joins us now live from our Cape Town studios. Monique, of course, you were telling us a little earlier that just because this part of this entire case is done, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's over?
Yes, Masego, in January, at the end of January 2023, the main application will be heard in the Western Cape High Court. Now, this main application was brought by Toto Investments in June, and it is requesting that the court reviews and sets aside the sale agreement between Takatso Consortium and SA Government and the Public Enterprises Minister. But pending that, or adjacent to that main application, Toto Investments then brought this urgent application to the court in August, at the end of August of this year. And this application was basically urging the court to force the hand of the Public Enterprises Minister and SA Government to release all records related to the sale agreement. And these records include all the decisions leading up to the sale of 51% shares to Takatso Consortium, other financial information and financial records that Toto Investments say was excluded by the SA Government and Public Enterprises Minister when they handed in certain records related to the sale. And this urgent application would have also included the halting of the sale agreement as it stands right now. And last week, the advocates for the government and for Public Enterprises Minister argued that if this urgent application was to be granted, that it could spell the demise of SAA, because as it stands, SAA only has enough money to stay afloat until March. And this sale is therefore imperative that it needs to go ahead. And what Judge Nathan Erasmus this morning has ruled, he has dismissed the application by Toto Investments. But one important aspect that was mentioned, and this is something that Toto Investments really wanted, they wanted the full record, and they wanted that information that government has deemed as confidential. They wanted that to be made public. But the judge ruled that that which the state has declared as confidential, that will still be entered into the court, or will be handed to the courts and to the permitted parties, which includes the lawyers for Toto Investments. But that confidential version of the records will not be made public. So the media will not be privy to that information. Members of the public will not be made privy to that information. But since we last spoke a little earlier, Masego, I contacted the lawyers representing Toto Investments just to find out what are the next steps, especially ahead of that January hearing. Are they going to be appealing today's ruling? Are they satisfied with what the judge said, especially the aspect of the confidential and non-confidential records? And they said that they will get back to me. They will consult with their clients, the lawyers for Toto Investments. But they are satisfied that at least the most important aspect of the application, that this is something that the judge granted, albeit those records, the confidential records, won't be made public, but at least they, the lawyers for Toto Investments and Toto Investments, will be privy to that information. And this is essentially what they wanted to know. They wanted to know what were the steps taken by government, those decisions leading to the sale of 51% shares in SAA.
And Monique, just tell me the difference between the judgment today and what we're expecting in January. You say that that one is more of the main case. So why did we have to hear, today's proceedings, for instance? Just explain to us what the difference is there.
Today's proceedings, or this urgent application, was essentially for Toto Investments to get a full picture of what led to government selling 51% shares to Takatso Consortium, what led to the decision to choose Takatso Consortium as its strategic equity partner instead of Toto Investments, for example, because Toto Investments were one of the companies that also bid for SAA. And this urgent application was brought because Toto Investments felt that government wasn't playing fairly, that they were, in fact, neglecting their duties to the court, especially as public servants, in producing a full record. And what Toto Investments were arguing is that without this full record, how can we then bring our case, bring a proper case to the court in January, when that main application looking or urging the court to review and set aside the sale agreement between Takatsu Consortium and SA Gov when that takes place. So this urgent application dealt with, we want to see all of the records, because only once we've seen all of the records related to the sale can we then adequately prepare and base our arguments on the complete picture, because they said that government wasn't playing fairly, that they were being prejudiced. This is Toto Investments, and it's for this reason that they brought this urgent application in August, off the back of that main application calling for the review and the setting aside of the sale agreement in its entirety. That main application was brought in June this year.
All right, Monique Morlock with that report live for us in our studios in Cape Town. Let's leave it there for now.